What's going on, believers? Got another live price commentary for you. Please take a quick second to read over the disclaimer, and I will head over to the economic calendar. So, on the agenda today, just hit a little quick refresh. So, 8:09 a.m. Central. Already had two news releases into the marketplace. One at 7:15, one at 7:30, both to do with employment. At 9 o'clock, so 50 minutes from now, got high and medium impact, something to do with inflation. And then they moved this back. I believe it was at 11:30 before, but they moved it to noon. So the FOMC member is speaking for that second day in a row. And just get into the charts. So as far as my New York session model, I'm not liking anything that I'm seeing today. If you look at yesterday, this was the high to low from like the yesterday morning's price action. And it was never able to break above the high. Ultimately just consolidated within that daily BISI, that buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency. So see, it was working the high end of it, got inside of it, acted as resistance, sent it straight down to the low of it. Another little consolidation here, accumulation, in my opinion, is what I'm seeing. And it runs higher, but doesn't clear the buy side. Consolidates between a high and a midpoint of that daily range. And we see ourselves still in that same area right now. So what I'm looking at is above these highs, this buy side, as well as that orange line is a potential draw on liquidity. And then sell side, got this swing low here from Asia session yesterday. And then the low of the day from yesterday. So I got a paper trade kind of set up already, just anticipating from my experience that even if it does trade down here, it's either one or two things. It's coming down here to slip lower, take out this low, and then maybe run an additional area of sell side, or it'll come down here, pair buy orders with the sell stops below here, and then run aggressively for the relatively equal highs. So I'm not really looking for the breakout scenario today, more so looking for the range bound scenario. Like a couple of reasons for that. It is June 1st officially, so on a daily chart, how I mentioned that today will start June 1st. So we got a new month of trading. I like how the daily closed above the midpoint. Got the opening above here. And on top of that is NFP week. So lots of reasons for me to not be too excited about trying to catch a home run type of move. I mentioned this as well, just trying to find consistent base hits. I've been here before. I'm trying to get a feel for what the weekly profile is, but it's also a shortened week because of the holiday. If you recall, Monday, Memorial Day, the markets closed early, and then that means that Tuesday and Monday kind of got blended together on a daily. So this here, see how it doesn't have a Monday going from Friday to Tuesday. So Tuesday and Monday, they just blended the hours from Sunday and the hours from Monday all into Tuesday. So that's also a reason for me to be more cautious and more nimble, just trying to play the intraday liquidity. I'm not trying to catch a home run here. I don't really care to use the weekly or even a daily specifically for a draw on liquidity just because of, like I said, I'm not I'm not anticipating too large of a move, but sometimes when I'm not anticipating a large move, that's exactly when they happen. But as far as just following my rules, looking for consistency, that's where I stand for the day. This is pretty much the only setup that I'm seeing that's worthwhile taking. It's a 2.5 to 1 risk reward. So the range of risk is multiplied 2.5 times towards the first target. So that's definitely a valid as far as the return on investment. It's worth it to me at a 2.5. It's just about the probability. I believe the probability for today is rather low, but we shall see come the 8:30 opening what type of volatility. I would love for it to slam down here, activate this paper trade, and honestly rip right back higher. Obviously, in an ideal world, every trade I get in would be that fast, but this is not a perfect world, and so it just I can hope for a certain thing to happen, but the market's going to do what the market's going to do. Just have to continue to get better and get better at really understanding price delivery and understanding the the key times and the key signatures that I can take advantage of very easily every day. That's like my biggest thing I'm trying to figure out. Um, Home runs will come, but I always heard that the biggest trades come by surprise just by following the rules and leaving runners. So this is gonna be a part where I go mute. Next time you hear me will be the sped up version. All right, so got the New York session model. Everything's pretty much been marked up. We're sitting within that same daily range that I mentioned yesterday. Could act as support. Basically, did the low end of it send price back up to the high, and then price consolidated between the midpoint and the high of that range, leaving relative equal highs above. So that's why the setup, as far as the trade setup, that I would rather take today if I was going to take one would be a buy limit at the sell side liquidity on this 15-minute chart and targeting the buy side above those relative equal highs. And so, really nothing to take note of for those first few minutes. Just needed price to make a move. The 8:30 opening brought some volatility. SPX starts to slide lower towards sell side, but so does the dollar index. So typically when they're both moving together, I'm thinking one is lying, and I guess as a detective in a sense, investigating which one could be lying. And so I had already done my analysis and whatnot, and so I believe that SPX in general, right, had it traded down to that sell side liquidity, which, like I mentioned before, it was either going to be a sign that it was going to slide lower and take out that lower sell side liquidity, which was yesterday's low, or it would pair buy orders with those sell stops and then turn around and run towards the buy side liquidity above the relative equal highs. So that was the trade setup that I chose. There's higher probability for today. Dollar has engaged the area of sell side as well, but if you didn't catch it, I zoomed out and I found the next level of sell side for the dollar, and so I moved the sell side liquidity level down. But they both have technically at this point already engaged one level of sell side. Now on the right side, you see in there, dollar has now engaged a second, right, pool of sell side liquidity. On the 1 minute chart for SPX, that pink shaded area just below the midpoint of that daily range. See how once it traded below that midpoint, it created that inefficiency, repriced up to it on the 1 minute chart, and then from there dropped down and made a new low. And then what I'm seeing here is classic ICT 2022 mentorship trade setup where there's a short-term high, which was the pink line, price trades above. There's that inefficiency, which is the blue shaded area. That's the entry. So I was taking the re-entry for like another paper trade, just adding more contracts. I don't know what happened right there. It must have been some bug or a mistake I made, but I'll get more practice with the paper trade function. I really just start using it for these recordings. And so at this point, since it got above that original 1 minute inefficiency that was resistance at first and inverted it to support, so I'm thinking that that down close candle where I just put that call out, that the stop loss could be trailed there for this idea. that candle traded down into another down close candle. So I'm looking out that one as a propulsion block. So if it gets back below that low, in my mind, I'm thinking it's going to run lower for a further sell side. But at this point, the dollar is refusing to close below that sell side. The bodies are respecting that second level of sell side. And so it is causing me a little bit of worry, just in the sense that SPX won't have such an easy time running towards buy side. And so extending that original pink shaded 1 minute inefficiency to the right as price is dropping here, just noticing how the bodies of the candles are respecting that. Then one does get that close below, and price is starting to get real close to that trail stop loss area, starting to show potential resistance again at that range, and then boom, get some displacement above it finally. And so now I'm just kind of counting time. I've seen enough personally. I don't like days like this, to be completely honest. I want to try to catch something where it's fast and responsive from my entry. So it was fast and responsive for this particular idea with that blue shaded area. That was a really nice run. If I was to put the risk reward tool there, how that would have been set up, I'm just eyeballing it now, but probably about like a 4 to 1 just to the high that it traded up to. So on a 1% risk there, a potential 4% gain just off of that, that price run there. And so a mark up there, the new high being traded above would make a lot of sense to take a partial there. It's not a easy day from what I'm seeing, and so definitely want to make sure I'm collecting profit for my time, energy, and effort. And at this point, really close to that buy side, so I'm just preparing myself to type up the final notes as I close out. Dollar close below the sell side, buy side reach on SPX. Shout out to the believers. Thanks for watching. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.